One of the most important lessons that history teaches is that our actions have consequences. In 1940, citizens of London feared an apocalyptic event they may never recover from. Yet, one man stood above it all and displayed both courage and empathy, rarely seen by those in a position of leadership. On today's episode of Hindsight History, we take a look into how Winston Churchill encouraged the British people to have strength despite suffering immeasurable losses. Now, on to today's lesson. From the early onset of World War II, Adolf Hitler went to incredible lengths to ensure that the city of London was never directly targeted in any air raid campaign. The Führer hoped that newly elected Prime Minister Winston Churchill would capitulate after seeing neighboring France surrender in only 6 weeks. On the evening of August 24, 1940, a simple navigational error led a formation of German Luftwaffe bombers to drop their payload not on aircraft factories, but on civilian areas of London itself. This raid absolutely infuriated Winston Churchill. The attack on citizens in London gave the Prime Minister the moral justification that the city of Berlin deserved a similar reckoning. The very next night at 12:20 a.m., citizens throughout Berlin were astonished to hear air raid sirens go off throughout the city as British bombers swarmed ahead. This was something the High Command guaranteed would never occur in Berlin. In fact, Commander-in-Chief of the Luftwaffe, Hermann Göring, ensured that no enemy plane could ever break through the outer rings of the capital's anti-aircraft defense. These attacks on Berlin provoked Hitler, and on September 4, 1940, the leader of the German people stepped on stage in Berlin where years earlier he had made his first speech as Chancellor of Germany. Mr. Churchill is demonstrating his new brainchild, the night air raid. I have tempered my reaction to the British raids in hopes that Churchill would reconsider and halt them. But Ere Churchill saw in this a sign of weakness. You will understand that we are now answering night for night, and when the British Air Force drops 2 or 3 or 4,000 pound bombs, then we will drop 300 or 400,000 pounds. When they declare that they increase their attacks on our cities, then we will raise their cities to the ground. The hour will come when one of us will break, and it will not be National Socialist Germany. By attacking Berlin, Churchill provoked Hitler into changing the Luftwaffe strategy from bombing Britain's airfields and industry to attacking its cities and civilians. The date was set for September 7, 1940. Hermann Göring announced that the war would be over in just 3 weeks' time. September 7, 1940 became England's Black Saturday, the official beginning of what the world would soon call the Blitz. Throughout the fall and winter of 1940 and well into 1941, German bombers conducted over 90 raids in London. The Luftwaffe's bombs fell indiscriminately from the Wealth of Mayfair to the East End. No citizen through these vicinities was shown any mercy. Historians have concluded that one of the main reasons why the citizens of Great Britain managed to keep going despite the ongoing attacks of Luftwaffe bombs was seeing their Prime Minister Winston Churchill out visible among them. From the moment the Blitz started, Churchill ventured out into the streets to inspect damage and offer comfort to Londoners. Churchill understood the importance of being where the action was. On one occasion, he stopped at an air raid shelter where a bomb had killed 40 people and a large crowd was gathering. The fellow citizens were amazed to see their Prime Minister. It was Churchill's practice to go out amongst the people after a particularly severe bombing raid. On occasion, he would stand and converse, chatting with survivors, listening to their stories of what had occurred. After one particularly severe raid, the Prime Minister arrived at the scene of a bombed house, only to pitch in and help the rescue workers. The Prime Minister's visibility among the people, as well as his radio broadcast, helped citizens of Britain to remain steadfast and have conviction in the mantra of keep calm and carry on.
All the world that is still free marvels at the composure and fortitude with which the citizens of London are facing and surmounting the great ordeal to which they are subjected, the end of which, or the severity of which, cannot yet be foreseen. It is a message of good cheer to our fighting forces on the seas, in the air, and in our waiting armies, in all their posts and stations, that we send them from this capital city. They know that they have behind them a people who will not flinch or weary of the struggle, hard and protracted though it will be, but that we shall rather draw from the heart of suffering itself the means of inspiration and survival, and of a victory won not only for our own time, but for the long and better days that are to come.
So I hope you found that video interesting. What are your thoughts? Was it wise for Churchill to be visible among fellow Londoners, or did he put himself in harm's way by visiting these areas? Please leave your comments below. Also, check out the fantastic source for this video, Erik Larson's The Splendid and the Vile. As of this week, the book currently sits at #1 on Amazon's Most Read, which I'm linking below. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, you can click right here for more content from Hindsight History.